Right.
So yeah, vanity stores.
But before we continue on vanity stores, which I'll bring it up now, you should probably look up real quick, like Destiny Ever Store, for example. So Verzone, I just wanted to ask you real quick. This isn't like just to put you on blast or anything, but this is like for me to learn and obviously to help you out and give you answers. Like, what game are you playing that makes you pay $44 just to level up per day? Because I mean, that's actually quite interesting, and I want to know what game it is. Because the games I play, I mean, you could technically pay, but you don't really get anywhere when you do. So I just want to make sure that we're on the same page here. You might have a different game than I play. I don't know. So go ahead and share that if you feel, like you want to. And to Splash Gun again, like I said, yeah, we're gonna talk in it too, like on the leveling and the whole thing, because there's a dynamic I want to talk about when it comes to when I want to put up the point of the journey to get to max level, and then just making a level up for the sake of forcing you to pay. There's two different things. Just a random picture on images. Images. Yeah.
Which one?
Eververse. What Destiny 2 Eververse? No.
This?
Oh, go. Right here.
All right, so let me pull this up for you guys to see. So right now we're looking at oops. We're looking at the Destiny 2 Eververse store here. Eververse store right here. So
you're gonna have to go down a bit to find the picture, because I think you went to the full article.
Oh, okay.
You should have right clicked then.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll practice. View image?
View image where? Alright, there we go.
Zoom in.
So
okay. So it looks a little bad, but it's the best picture we can find on short notice. So this is what I wanted to say on the vanity store thing that we were talking about, or that we're gonna get into now. Basically, you can see here that you have a silver, and you have to have the premium currency to buy the costumes directly. So these things can often be like a new cosmetic finisher, style of finisher, a new skin for your weapon, a new armor set, that sort of stuff. Or maybe a new emote to kind of customize the way you are in a social game. So what they're monetizing is the social aspect of the game, but they're still letting you play the actual game. Even if you pay for the expansion, you pay one time and you can play the whole content without any blockage, which is why I think this model is actually better, because it still provides an avenue. It's kind of like you're donating to your favorite Twitch subscriber, but you're donating to the developers. Like, hey, you know what? I liked your game, and I want to look kind of cool, so I appreciate this costume. I'm gonna buy that, and that's gonna be my thing. People can still consider this to be like a super hardcore monetization scheme, but it's really not. It's you do it because you want to. I have friends that have gotten upset because they can't get enough of. There's actually a free currency, which I'm gonna talk about now. It's called the Bright Dust. They're upset because you have to grind up like, I don't know, God knows how many weeks to get only like 3 items in the store. It's like, yeah, because you're supposed to get what you like. It's not about getting everything. It's about getting what you like, and for you to also, pay the developer a little bit more for their ongoing service. Remember, these games have servers. They have teams to make sure the game doesn't break so you can keep playing it. They have to, they improve the graphics all the time, because if they don't improve the game, it's going to look like some cookie cutter 2002 game, which we also don't want. We want our games to look beautiful too. So you got that, then you have the programming, the patching, and then the content creation on the side. So you have all these different teams working on it. That's a lot of money to pay employees, on top of the fact, the electricity bills and all these things. So the way that they do it this way is you kind of donate to them like you want.
Yeah, that I think that's actually a valuable thing that Jordan's saying right there, and I personally don't have a problem with that too much. On the forefront, because all that's simply doing is that you're supporting the games that you like for additional content, which this isn't like a pay to win type of thing, which is I think is what we were saying was the main problem with how Battlefront 2 originally shipped out, was that it seems very reflective of a pay to win environment, because you would have to either pay for these loot boxes or grind an insane amount for star cards that would give you insane advantages. And that creates a pay-to-win environment. Now, for the listeners, because remember, we're going to be putting this on YouTube where you can watch, but for the listeners on our podcast platforms, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about what we're seeing here? Because I'm seeing, I see you could buy packages. I see you could buy, obviously, emotes is a more cosmetic thing where you're doing a dance or something expressive with your character. What's a weapon ornament? What's that currency there? 700 what? 700 silver,
right,
is that?
So, by the way, Verzone, thank you. Yeah, it was kind of my idea to put the music in the background. I felt it would kind of be like our thing for the podcast, to kind of give people a little bit more of a mood. So I appreciate you liking the music, because that was my idea, and I feel good about it now. But yeah, so it's, again, you see that currency right there. That's the silver. That's the premium currency. So not everything can be directly bought, you know, with the Brightas, which is like the free currency. That's on our rotation weekly thing, where, you know, it changes the rewards you can get, and it's limited to what you can get per week. But like I said, it's like, it's your way to kind of give back to the developers for the game they gave you. Like, the weapon ornaments don't affect you. They don't make your weapon more powerful. They just change the design of your weapon. The armor ornaments, before they used to be armor, and people used to think about, oh man, this is just pay to win now. But it's not anymore, because it's just now an ornament. It's just a little thing you go into your armor and you customize how it looks. So it doesn't directly affect the game as much anymore as it did before, and it's literally just for pure customization. So, you know, with the vanity store, I think it's the best way to do it. And also, I like the way that, you know, Bungie has it, where like they don't fully like abuse the players with it. They're not like fully advertising it in your face. You don't, when you come into the game, you don't see it firsthand. It doesn't tell you have to pay to play. You just get in and play, and then you have a store in your menu. Well, you don't have to go there ever. There's no icon telling you to go there. There's no quest telling you go buy from the Eververse. There's no, I need to do this, I need to buy from here to beat the game. It's literally just for you to make yourself look cooler. So this would be the best way, in my opinion, to do it. I don't know if you'll have any other inputs.
Well, yes, because before we move on from the topic of loot boxes and stuff, because we are covering vanity stores and stuff like that, I noticed here you also noted gacha systems, which I was gonna bring up. I think Verzome was actually talking about that. Verzome, so in the chat, you just let us know that you pay 44 USA dollars on leveling up per day. What game is that? Because something that's a game that's been very popular right now, and I think it's also important to talk about that. And I want to revisit the vanity store with you the vanity store topic with you later. But let's go ahead and talk about a little bit about gacha. So. And also additional Fortnite. Oh yeah. That's tough right there.
Yeah,
in my opinion, games as a service is a double-edged sword. It assumes there's money to be saved and made, keeping a game alive for longer, but it also assumes that people will sink their time into the game by drip feeding them pleasure spikes. Well, you see, that's
another thing. Yeah, but
okay. So you know what? Before we even move to games as a service, before we even move on to gacha system, sorry, I actually wanted that's a good point he raises there, because I wanna bring up. Thing you said about the vanity store. I think that could be a healthy thing for games, and I would honestly be all for it. But in Destiny's case, even though it's been beneficial, you could also argue, once you get past the tip of the iceberg, that it could also be damaging.
Right.
Why? On the surface, there's nothing wrong with a player supporting a game via cosmetics or anything like that. That's fine. Obviously, you want the game to be developed additionally, whatever. You pay for cosmetics, and then the developer gets that money, and they're able to do additional things for the game for you. But when they know that, you know, they can only focus on a few aspects here and there, and then make sure they implement like a vanity store, who's to say that they're no longer going to do the things they used to make their games better? So what do I mean by that? To bring up an example, Halo, Bungie Halo, right? Halo 1 Combat Evolved, they had no idea it was going to be good. You know, it was one of the first games for a console that no one knew was going to be good either. It was a fresh contender, the Xbox, and Microsoft kind of went on a limb and brought these guys, Bungie, in, and they were like, you know what, we kind of have a cool idea for a game, Halo, right? And it ended up being this whole revolutionary thing that was like, you know, there wasn't a game that had the fast-paced sort of like shooting, jumping, vehicle type of thing that Halo had, with aliens landing on a ring. All that was super crazy, but the narrative wasn't really all that together. Like, you were like, oh, this random guy, Master Chief, and you know, you had your Marines and stuff like that, and you were kind of learning just via like experiencing it, but it wasn't really an expanded or an expansive or even really that immersive of a universe itself. It ended up being super successful just based off the gameplay, based off the few things they did here and there. The story was good, but it was because they showed and didn't tell. You know, it was a good enough story to get away with just doing that. And it was something fresh, unique. The graphics were amazing for the time. Halo 2 they were like, yo, we need to like take this to the next level, you know, Xbox Live. They did a 2-part story where now you're getting to know Master Chief better. You get to know Johnson better, who was more of a side character before, and now he's more of a central character. You learn that you know, Keys had his daughter Miranda, who's now, you know, she got promoted and right. and whatever, and you know, Lord Hood, and you start getting to actually know all these characters. So they delve deeper into the narrative without doing the whole, you know, sorry to bring it up, the Destiny BS of, oh yeah, don't bother learning the story in the game, just go read it in a book off to the side. Like that'll be so much better, right? It's so much better. But the point that I'm trying to make is, you know, then they go ahead and they actually they think, wow, you know what, it would be pretty interesting. What if we start telling the story from the point of view of the Covenant, you know, the bad guys? You find out, okay, they have feelings and motivations and stuff too, and it makes it deeper. And then they create fresh new maps. They bring back old ones that were fan favorites. They make different game modes that are amazing. Same thing for Halo 3. All of a sudden in Halo 3 you get Forged, and you know, you have the new competitive systems that were already added in Halo 2. You know, the what's it called, the competitive playlist or whatever.
Ranked things.
The ranked playlist, exactly. And you get new weapons, and you get all this stuff. Even though a vanity store, let's say I would have supported a vanity store for Halo 3 or Halo 2, because what that would have meant is like, you got everything that you already did, and then they could patch things that maybe people found problematic, such as the infamous Halo 2 campaign, right? A lot of people say it was too hard. I kind of liked it for what it was. Jordan here disagrees. We might have a future episode talking about game difficulty to come up.
Coming soon.
Yeah, coming soon, but
we got to figure out the works. We're trying to do something special with that one. So.
Exactly, but to get back to the topic, all this simply would have meant is more Halo 2, more Halo 3, which already did amazing things, and hopefully they wouldn't have gotten de-incentivized. But you have the same company that made these games, all of a sudden now they have the ability to further monetize, which, you know, old DLC might have been fine, like adding maps and stuff, and you know, whatever, that was standard. It started to become standard practice. But now you have a game like Destiny with a vanity store, and they made sure they had their vanity store up and running, but every single time you go ahead and try to find out anything about your story, I don't have time to explain. I don't even have time to explain why I don't have time to explain.
So keep bringing back Destiny 1.
Yeah,
I get what you mean. You're just hurt.
Exactly, and they do sneaky weird stuff just for the sake of trying to get you to play the game more or whatever. Like, you are gonna sink all the time in the world into this game if you loved what they did and if it was high quality. So if you just make a good game, people will support you financially, by all means. The same thing as if you're a good streamer, or if you're a good content creator, a good YouTuber, you make good content and people will want to support you. Now, if you just sit here, right, and you're just like, nah, bro, you guys want to listen to the rest of this podcast? You got to subscribe right now. Like, you're not getting any more content until you subscribe. No, you better tip me $5 right now or you get nothing. Then no one's like, maybe a few people, if they have like masochistic personalities, might actually support you, but most people are gonna think, no, that's wrong, that's BS. So there's no outward evidence of well, no, that's not true. I think there is a bit of evidence to show that Destiny that even though Destiny offers less predatory versions of monetizations, there's still evidence that serves that they're no longer having the best interest for the players at heart over monetization, due to the simple fact that I believe I heard a rumor, or no, it wasn't even a rumor, it was pretty much confirmed, I think, that they posted a job search for a monetization director, and players got a hold of it and they released it and spread it throughout the community, and once that was found out, they pulled it off. Why would you pull it off if there's nothing to be ashamed about? Clearly their focus, games as a service, has allowed.
When was that though?
I'll let me see if I can pull up. Let me pull it up.
I'll go ahead and
take the conversation. Take the conversation over. I'm gonna pass it on to you.
And I still try to.
Yeah. Let me get the conversation over to you. But I just want to end for the loot box and monetization scheme part of this conversation.
Well, we still haven't gotten to gacha and battle pass. But yeah, I guess continue. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, all I'm basically trying to say is, even with the less predatory versions of games as a service, it's essentially it's becoming it. Even stuff that doesn't look bad at the surface level, it's providing an incentive down below, beneath the skin, for companies to no longer have our best interest at heart and to just worry about making money hand over fist rather than providing us valuable content. Right. Jordan, go ahead and share your opinions on that and other things.
Well, just to recap, because it's gonna go we're gonna be going at 300 miles and jumping 20 topics, so we'll fall off the topic and we'll never get back. So just to recap, results, I know it's kind of harsh what I'm about to say, but the fact that you're spending 44 is due to the fact that the game's free to play. You don't have to pay to play Fortnite. You can endlessly play it. The only thing you're paying for is to get the battle pass faster, so you can get more. You can go through the battle pass faster, so you can get more costumes. So, but again, you have to think of it yourself. Do you want that costume for real? Is that the kind of gun you really want to have, or gun skin? Because you can just play the game and have fun, and you don't have to pay much, other than for how you want to customize your character. This is the kind of thing. What I'm saying again, you have to really think about what you want and what the game forces you to use. The game does not necessarily force you to get a costume. At least as far as I know, I haven't really played Fortnite. I know Michael has, so he knows a bit more about it than I do. But what I'm trying to say is, with the costume thing, you kind of just pay for whatever you want. And again, if you're paying $44 to play Fortnite, maybe you should consider playing a different game. I know Fortnite may be a fun game to you, but man, consider something else that might be fun too, and that you don't have to pay that much. Call of Duty, you buy it once, and then the rest of it's pretty much free now. You don't even have to buy the map packs anymore. You can play forever, and then the only thing you can buy is the mechas, which, by the way, they have the battle passes, which we'll get to towards the end of this part of the conversation. But I'm just saying, maybe consider playing a different game. And then, for Splash Cannon, you're talking about pleasure spikes, but that's the thing. They have to make good content for you to, actually pay. The way that Mike was saying, you need, something worth coming back for. If for you, it's just a gun. Oh, that's for you. If for me, I need a story, just like Michael. I need a story that gets me from point A to point B, explains to me what's going on, gives me something of worth, and then I go through the levels. It's always going to be that way.
Oh, I actually have an interesting point that I want to respond to Splash Cannon with, but let's look at this. I couldn't find the article about the whole scandal fiasco, the people getting upset about it, but I actually have the LinkedIn profile. Don't send, by the way, whenever we cover a specific person on the podcast, whether we're shedding something positive or negative about them, don't try to flame them or whatever. Don't ever try to reach out to them or say something bad or whatever. It's not their fault. They're just trying to make, they're trying to make a living, right? So
it's
don't ever.
It's what they're forced to do,
Exactly. Don't ever go out and hate on someone just because we're covering them on the podcast. Or for that fact, don't reach out to them even if it's something positive. Respect people's privacy. But so let me close this here. So Jamie Rich, business performance director at Bungie. Literally, it says here, if you read the about, right? It's saying that he's responsible for a core part of Destiny franchise, Destiny 2, and post-purchase revenue stream at Bungie. Meaning they actually have an executive specifically dedicated to managing the
post
the monetization,
the continuous stream of content, how it's monetized, what business they can use.
Exactly. So that right there shows you everything that's wrong. And this man right here worked on stuff like Bejeweled and all that, mobile games, which literally those are the type of games that block you out from playing them unless you pay more money and stuff.
Or you see an ad, right? Those are the ones where you have to watch an ad to play, right?
Exactly. Which is still more money. Now, that's the point I'm trying to make, Splash Cannon. What you said is valid. Yeah, they're there to make money. But guess what game broke records with the amount of money it made? More than blockbuster movies back in the day too. Halo 2. Made by the same people who made Destiny.
Right.
Set records with how much money it made without even as much as DLC for a paid map, much less a loot box or a vanity store. Why was it purchased? Why didn't it make that much money? Because they cared about their game, because they focused on the content of the game rather than monetization schemes. So it's like if I was to set up this podcast, but I didn't bring on a co-host, and I just sat here and stared at the roof all day. And I was like, guys, I have merch. Can you buy merch? It's SE merchandise / co-opsyndicate.com. Can you buy my merch? But then I don't actually talk to you guys about anything or provide anything of value. Here, you literally have a company bringing on an executive just for scheming on how they're going to make more money from you, where I still don't know the lore of Destiny just from playing the campaigns. Like, you know, give me, like, they're fixing some of these things now with Beyond Light. They actually put, like, I mean, they've been putting cutscenes and stuff for a while.
They put a lot. Beyond Light was a return to form. They really, I'm starting to see the OG Bungie that actually, you know, built an experience for the players.
Exactly.
With this expansion, but that's another thing I want to say again. You know, remember how we started the conversation. Games as a Service was created by top corporate individuals who just wanted to make more money. Bungie, you know, and I've explained the story. You can actually see the Act Man on YouTube. He talks about this with Marty O'Donnell, the lead, you know, sound designer for the original Halo games and you know, the first Destiny. They talk about how Activision came up to them and was basically like, you know, we're gonna give you a lot of money, but we expect a lot of money in return, so you have to make your game in this way, blah blah blah. And they started cutting out pieces of the game. You know, they lost track of what they were going for. And I want to also point out, you know, every big thing that ever happened in gaming always started off with a bad game. It's just how it is. MMO started off with bad, you know, systems at first. You know, shooters started off with bad mechanics at first. RPG started off with broken, super hard, like, difficulty games. You know, these things they evolved over time, and I think Games as a Service is just a result of that too. It's the first of its kind. It was started by corporate individuals. It was taken the wrong way, and now, you know, I see now that Bungie, having left Activision, they've started changing the direction of the game. They're putting in more story. They're trying to give us more of what we love about the game and a little bit less of the story stuff. I mean, not story stuff, like store stuff, like making us pay more and buy more and stuff. And then they even separated everything. You don't have, before you had to buy all 3 expansions of Destiny just to play the game. Now it's free to play, and then you can buy into whatever you want. If you hate Beyond Light, you can wait till next year and buy the next expansion, and you're not forced to buy Beyond Light to play the new expansion. You just pay for what you want currently, and then you're done. You're not forced to buy all of it.
So hey there guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Co-op Syndicate. Make sure to check out both the Co-op Syndicate main channel and clip channel to get all of our content. If you haven't already, please consider liking, subscribing, and ringing the bell as well so that you never miss out on any future episodes. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider sharing it with your friends and family, or you could also share it on any social media website of your liking. If you guys would prefer to listen to our podcast on the go instead of viewing the full episode on YouTube, consider checking the Co-op Syndicate podcast out at TheCo-OpSyndicate.buzzsprout.com. We host the Co-op Syndicate on Buzzsprout, and it is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or anywhere where you listen to your podcasts. If you'd like to watch us as we record the podcast live, you could actually give us a follow at twitch.tv/Co-op-Syndicate. We go live every Thursday and Saturday at 4:30 p.m. If you'd like to support the channel, you could consider subscribing to us with Amazon Prime for free over there. If you'd like to participate in community events and talk to other members of the community, consider joining our Discord, which I will leave the links to in the description down below. If you would like to support the podcast and get rewarded in return, consider pledging to our podcast at patreon.com/Co-op-Syndicate, where you can support us at many different levels. There are multiple tiers that offer all sorts of different rewards for the level that you choose to support us at, including Discord privileges, merch, gift cards, and much more. Also, if you would just like the merch directly without pledging to the Patreon, you could buy our merch at merch.streamelements.com/Co-op-Syndicate. Lastly, if you'd like to keep up with Jordan or I outside of the Co-op Syndicate, you can find us on every social media platform under Michael C. Moore for myself or JG_Mark1 for Jordan. Thank you guys again, and until next time, happy listening.